Student protesters in Bangladesh demanding reforms in the quota system in the government plans to enforce a complete nationwide shutdown in response to actions of the security forces that left at least 6 people, including 4 students, across the country. The student coordinator said that barring hospitals and emergency services, everything else will be closed and only ambulance services will be permitted to operate in Bangladesh. Now, the movement urges students from all educational institutions to participate in the shutdown. Overnight, Dhaka police raided the headquarters of the opposition Bangladesh Nationalist Party, accusing it of playing a role in this violent protests that have in fact erupted in the country. The police had arrested 7 members of the party's student wing in connection with the 2 buses that were set on fire on Tuesday. Police found 100 crude bombs, 500 wooden and bamboo sticks, and 5 to 6 bottles of gasoline on raid. Now, police also used rubber bullets to disperse the opposition activists after they attacked the police, and several opposition activists were arrested. These are some of the visuals that we're in fact bringing to you from Dhaka. The BNP Secretary General Mirza Fakhrul Islam Alamgir accused the police of barring their supporters from the funeral prayers. On Wednesday, stray protests took place at Dhaka University and elsewhere in the country as well. Police were deployed on campus while paramilitary border forces patrolled the streets in Dhaka and other big cities, trying to get the situation under control.
How can the government do these attacks? We have been saying since the beginning that we are ordinary students. It is a matter of common sense that over 50% of the jobs cannot be given away to quota holders. A normal state cannot be run like this.
Well, so these are the latest that have in fact taken place in Dhaka specifically, and there are other cities, big cities across Bangladesh as well, which has witnessed such violent protests. And mind you, these are all protests being staged by students. Now, Bangladesh had announced that it will indefinitely shut down all the public and private universities from Wednesday onwards after these massive countrywide protests against the controversial quota system in government jobs have left at least 6 dead and over 400 injured. Now, the protests, first, if we take you through a quick timeline, they erupted in the wake of June 5th ruling by the Bangladesh High Court, which reinstated the 30% quota for freedom fighters and their descendants in government jobs, which was repealed in 2018 after a massive agitation led by students and teachers. Now, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina on Sunday had further added fuel to the fire by referring to the protesters as Razakars. Who are Razakars, or what exactly is the meaning of this Bengali Bangla word, Razakars? It means traitors. And the word particularly has some grim history that is associated with it. In fact, which is why it didn't go down well with the common people who have been staging these protests, the students who have been staging these protests. If we take a look at the controversial quota system that we are referring to here, it refers to government jobs in Bangladesh, which are highly coveted as stable and lucrative source of income. And around 4 lakh graduates compete every year for just 3,000 such jobs. That's how highly coveted these jobs are, how highly sought after these jobs are. And there are limited positions that are available for a wider mass. Now, until 2018, 56% of these government jobs were reserved for various categories, and the majority, around 30%, was reserved for family members of veterans who had fought for Bangladesh's liberation back in 1971. Women and people from underdeveloped districts enjoyed 10% reservation each, members of tribal communities got 5%, and 1% was reserved for persons with disabilities. So this only left 44% of all openings and available for open admission. This is the particular reservation system that existed. Now, the freedom fighters quota was particularly contentious since many people perceived it to be favoring those loyal to Sheikh Hasina's party, which is the Awami League, which headed the Bangladeshi liberation struggle. And adding to people's frustrations were the special examinations for quota candidates, varying the age limits for each category, and the fact that there remained many vacancies in quota seats even as eligible candidates in the merit list were unemployed. Back in April 2018, students and teachers embarked on a 4-month-long protest demanding the removal of these conditions and a reduction in the overall reservation to 10% as well. In fact, back then as well, it was a violent uprising, or rather a violent protest, violent demonstrations that had been staged in Bangladesh. So it remains to be seen that now in 2024, does Bangladesh encounter a similar fate that they had gone through, the experience they'd gone through back in 2018 with regards to this quota system. Those are the latest updates that we bring to you from Bangladesh with regards to the unrest, the tensions that persist there.